So I'm in Columbia, South Carolina. It's getting late in the day, passing through, and I just wanted to look this spot up. I remember this from 2008. I remember when the Travis Barker plane crashed. I remember seeing it on the news, and I always wanted to come and check it out for myself. And this is right where it happened. And I believe this is Highway 302 that the plane slid across or flew across. It basically crashed right here, right on this embankment here. In interviews and on podcasts, he talks about this horrifying situation of him just being on fire. His hands are on fire, his shoes are on fire, and climbing out of the plane onto the wing. And you can see the dash cam when the police show up. It's just a ball of fire.
And he saw two men who were basically dumped out of the airplane upon the crash, who were standing in the road on fire, hitting each other, trying to put the fire out.
So September 19th, 2008, Travis Barker and DJ AM, aka Adam Goldstein, just finished performing for thousands of people here in Columbia, South Carolina. It was around midnight. They boarded their plane, a Learjet 60, along with Travis's security guard, Charles Still, and his assistant, Chris Baker. Also, the pilot, Sarah Lemon, and co-pilot, James Bland. This is the Columbia Metropolitan Airport. It's right by the UPS airport entrance. To the right of it, you can see that's runway 11. That's a few hundred feet, I would say. And ended up on that embankment. Now, as they were racing down the runway, they heard a loud bang. Travis remembered the plane felt loose and out of control. In reality, what was happening was the tires were blowing. As the plane went down the runway, it hit about 144 knots, and all four tires exploded within 9 seconds of each other. The pilot had only 35 hours of experience flying a Learjet 60. There was some seconds of back and forth. They were right at V1, which is basically, takeoff speed, go, no go type of situation. Unfortunately, it really happened at the worst time possible. And not knowing that the tires had exploded and likely damaged the brakes, they had already exceeded the speed that they could safely abort. However, the decision was made to, in fact, abort the takeoff.
The landing gear popped. It sounded like gunshots. It sounded like someone was shooting a gun next to my head. And then the plane just spiraled out of control. I caught fire trying to go to the front of the plane to save my two friends and get to the pilots possibly. And I caught fire. I run, I grab Adam, he's passed out. I open the emergency exit, I jump into the jet fuel. So my whole body is engulfed in flames at this point. My feet were soaked in jet fuel. So he actually patted out my feet and ended up burning himself on his arm and a little bit on the back of his head.
I get why they call it post-trauma, because it was very tough, and I have really bad days and I have okay days, it's strange, but I'm blessed, I'm alive, I'm here.
Travis had third-degree burns over 65% of his body. He was in the hospital for 11 weeks and had 27 surgeries. The pictures are hard to look at. The company that operated the jet said that the last time the tire pressure was checked was 3 weeks before the accident. And experts say that the type of tires, the Goodyear Flight Eagles, can lose up to 2.2% of its pressure daily, meaning they should be checked and refilled as necessary at least every 8 days. Learjet Aircraft Maintenance Manual states that they should be replaced after operating at 15% under inflation. Being how it was 3 weeks, you can imagine that they were likely around 36% under inflation. Now, DJ AM and Travis were the only two to survive. The two pilots or the pilot and the co-pilot perished, and Travis's security guard and his assistant also died. And unfortunately, DJ AM died about a year later from a drug overdose. It's a sad situation. It was 13 years before Travis would get onto another plane, which I don't blame him. When you go through that kind of experience, it has to be traumatizing. Even with traveling around the world with his music, I guess he just took boats and drove a lot and took buses. I don't know, but he credits his wife, Kourtney Kardashian, for giving him the confidence to be able to get back on a plane, and I'm sure that makes things a lot easier for himself. I would assume by now that everything that all pieces of the plane were probably picked up, but not that I'm gonna go rummaging around in here. So if you want to come here for yourself and see it, it's right by the UPS entrance ramp into the, or entrance into the airport. Runway 11 is behind me, and this is 302 that the plane skidded across or launched across. So anyway, just a short video. See you in the next one.